Shipping to Ireland after Brexit. Since the early stages of Brexit, only a few cornerstones for negotiations seemed laid, and one was that no physical border between the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland should ever be reintroduced. This is exactly what has happened, and both the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland are still part of the EU and VAT Customs Union, in spite of Great Britain no longer being within the Union. It is a hybrid status for Northern Ireland, that politically still belongs to the United Kingdom. Let us see what happens VAT customs-wise when we trade from the EU to Ireland and Northern Ireland after Brexit. First, Ireland. It's easier to explain. Consumer distance sales from the EU to Ireland are subject to VAT in Ireland if a merchant has met the distance selling threshold of €35,000 per year or opted for VAT at destination in their home country. From the 1st of July 2021, however, the distance selling threshold will be removed as part of an overhaul of the VAT treatment of e-commerce sales in Europe, and VAT will be always due at destination. Yet merchants will be able to report VAT in all Europe through the one-stop shop without the requirement of registering for VAT abroad. The case of Northern Ireland is a bit more complicated. First, there is the topic of trade between the EU and Northern Ireland. Even after Brexit, trade of goods between VAT-registered businesses in the EU and Northern Ireland must still be zero-rated as long as the acquirer holds a valid VAT number recorded in the EU VS database and all the other statutory requirements are met. VAT-registered businesses trading in Northern Ireland must use a VAT number starting with a XI prefix. This VAT number will be used by the EU businesses to zero-rate their intra-EU sales to businesses in Northern Ireland. Intrastate requirements between the EU and Northern Ireland are still in place even after the 1st of January 2021. With respect to consumer distance sales, the current EU VAT system based on distance selling threshold will still apply to consumer sales from the EU to Northern Ireland and in the opposite direction. So EU sellers will still use their VAT number to report distance sales to Northern Ireland, those where the postcode starts with BT. If they met the 70,000 threshold in 2020 or have opted for the application of VAT destination. Similarly, if a Northern Irish business has met the distance selling threshold in Spain, €35,000 in 2020, with shipments from Northern Ireland, they will still have to apply Spanish VAT on similar sales in 2021. Let us talk now about trade between the UK and Northern Ireland. The first tenet of the agreement on Northern Ireland is that trade from Northern Ireland to the rest of the United Kingdom shall take place as it used to be before year 2021. There is no additional process of paperwork and there are no restrictions on Northern Ireland goods arriving in the rest of the United Kingdom. For trade going from the rest of the United Kingdom to Northern Ireland, no tariffs apply on goods remaining within the United Kingdom customs territory. Only goods with no UK preferential origin ultimately entering the Republic of Ireland or the rest of the European Union or at substantial risk of doing so should be subject to customs tariffs when reaching the border on Northern Ireland by sea or air. VAT will continue to be accounted as it was prior to 2021 on goods sold between Great Britain and Northern Ireland. This means that the seller will continue to charge its customers VAT and should show this on the sales invoice. However, there are a small number of exceptions to this system. For instance, when goods are declared into special customs procedure while entering Northern Ireland or Great Britain, in this case a business customer or importer will be liable to account for VAT. Or when they are subject to an onward supply procedure. It means that the products are destined directly to the EU or are sold by an overseas seller through an online marketplace. In this case, the marketplace is liable to collect and pay VAT on sale in lieu of the seller. Have you tried to ship products from the EU to Ireland or from Great Britain to Ireland? I would be glad to hear your experience, so please feel free to post a comment below this video. Bye bye for now, see you next week. Ciao!